we're going to be discussing our editorial tools through Blox here. We'll go through all the tools and details of editorial and then some syndication stuff, and then kind of talk about some of the things that some of new revamps and notifier that Town News has pushed actually today. So you'll see them on the live site now. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So to kind of go right in, we're going to talk about getting into Blox CMS and uploading assets to the sites. So really the first thing you guys need to know, this address to the Town News site is admin.townnews.com. When you go there, it takes you to a longer URL, which I mean, it's just a shorter version, which is great for us. But one thing to note, if you have access to multiple sites, you'll notice your active site up here. In this case, I'm under Argus Observer. But by clicking on the drop-down, you'll see your access to all the sites. If you have multiple access to sites, just make sure this is the first thing you look at. That's the first thing I look at since I have all the properties under my account. You can, however, go and say, there we go, Wenatchee, say make the login a default, or actually they might have, let's just change that to my Herald. Set as a login default, so every time that you log in to admin.townnews.com, your primary site is the one that loads first, okay? So you can, so make sure that's the first thing to look at. So on the, we'll kind of talk about revamp, because now we're looking at the revamped user interface that Town News has done, which it looks a bit different. It's cleaner, but on the menu here to the left, the menu looks a bit different. So it's kind of, everything is kind of not like a traditional drop down anymore. They went on to saying, and I sent this article out this morning, it's a fast access menu, it's improving performance, so, and their color scheme's different. So if you have issues like finding things like I did today, just let me know, and I can guide you through. But what you can also do is set your own panel, featured panels, which is pretty cool. So if you quick and go panels, so you can do some customization. So that's the revamp. So we're looking at the revamped site right now. So when you log in, of course, it's going to take you to the front page here. Again, it's all new releases and articles that Town News pushes out to us. You also get emails if you're admins of site of all this new releases. And then also on this page, you'll see things they're working on. I just sent an email out saying that the permission issue, there's a permission issue right now for the notifier that they just launched. So they're fixing to make sure that everybody can see the notifier under their admin account. So they give us updates here, and you can totally subscribe to them if you like to get these emails in your or get these alerts in your email. Software service updates, bunch of information there, and then support ticket and things like that. You can do that as well. But what the cool thing about Blox 2, they have a community discussion board that I sometimes go to see what other Town News users are doing, and if there's issues that are happening with them and I'm coming up with the issue, at times I'll figure out the solution here, because Town News actually does converse with the comments left on issues being pushed to. So so lots of resources for you. So today we'll do editorial, and so the first thing what we need to do with the new revamp is you basically go to your left bar here, or left menu, And if you don't have, you might not have all these permissions, but of course, if you don't have editorial assets permission, please let me know, and we'll make sure you can access that. You'll see new things like assignments, page tracker, and such. Those are total CMS tools that we don't touch at the moment, not needed. So we'll go ahead and get started with assets. Editorial assets is where all content, video, really anything that's uploaded on the site gets pushed to. So the first thing you'll notice here, sometimes you'll get a pop-up, and basically these are articles that are in draft mode, not something that I've done, or maybe actually that maybe I've done, but because I'm an admin, I do see a lot of drafts from other user accounts. I just simply ignore it. If there's one on here that is yours, I will definitely look at it, restore it, discard it, do what you need to do. But it does give you a pop-up of unsaved drafts that we can restore, discard. So you can close out of there, and this is the editorial assets platform. To the left here, you have a search filtering, a search item or a search box. You can search by title, basically really anything that's on the title of the article or video or such. You can search by, Slug right now is not used as total CMS stuff, so you could disregard that for now. You can search by type, article, image collection, audio, etc. Search by sections, and then by clicking on the add button here, you can look at the subsections within, so you can do that. You can search by start date, so if you know an article ran in February and you know specific date, you can do that. You can search by author. If these articles had an author attached to them, assigned to them, you can search by author. You can search by publish, unpublished, awaiting processing. That's I'm waiting processing. I think it's more like total CMS because I'm not sure of that. Okay, so you can also do user contributed. Right, by default it says non-contributed user articles, and then search by flags, and then everything underneath that is total CMS except deleted. So if there's deleted stuff and you want to search for that, you can. But we'll disregard these for now. But when total CMS gets on board, those are some other search terms you can search by. So what you can do, what I like about this, because we have Town News Content Exchange in all our sites, so national stories that get pushed through. At times it gets bombarded by national stories on our list because there's just so much and we can't keep up with our local news. So what you can do is create a saved search for you guys. So let's say I created one for just to really show all section except national. So you can click on all these and then you can add it, search name, and this can be a shared search. So then all admins can see that saved search. In this case, I think I did the same with this one. So you can edit it, and if it's, so it's a shared search. So everybody should be able to see this. So you can simply click on that and search for that. And now what it's doing, it's pulling all content, our local content, except national, because I don't want to see national. So it's something I need to care about. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Manuel, I'm sorry. Is Manuel on the call? Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So anyway, so once you have that search term here, and you can search by just local, on the right here, you'll see all images, articles, PDFs. You'll get used to knowing the PDFs, the icons, what's an icon, what's an article, what's a PDF, what's an image, and such. You can see what's an embedded code that we've done, and things like that. So just to really go into it, I'll go ahead and pull this story up so we can look at this story here. So I'm going to search for that story. So it's right there, and I know that's the article. You will also see the images that are part of it as separate assets, but really what I want to focus on is the article itself. Next, you'll see the sections. If there's numbers on the sides of them, is because it's assigned to multiple sections. And then if it has authors, like here, Mark in his photography, he'll put his made himself an author, Mark Levy. And then if there's display priorities, and we'll talk about that in a minute, you can add a number for display priority there. And then, of course, the start time when it started. And there's a bunch of things you can do up here. You can select some of these and export. If you want to export this information, you can do that. You can highlight one and you can duplicate it. If you have, what I like about this too is at times I use this if I have multiple articles and I forgot, let's say, to assign to a particular to a section, and all these articles need to also be assigned to that section. I can highlight these articles and say batch edit. And when you batch edit, you can do multiple things. One thing to multiple articles. You can add another section if you choose. You can add keywords. You can add, a bunch of tabs, and we'll go through these tabs. So you can also add the author. If you missed your author assignment on those, you can also do that, and it will populate to all these articles. Okay, so we'll look at this article in here. So double click on it, it opens the article here, and the first thing, of course, things have changed a bit because of the Total CMS, so it will say web headline. It usually set title, but now it's called web headline. You have your byline. Let's just for each site, if you have some kind of custom byline, like first name, last name, and email, if you want to put your position or your title on here, you can do that too. You honestly don't have to say by, and you just basically say Donicole at myhero.com as your byline. This is where you add authors. And the reason I would like for you guys to start using authors is because each user of the site, admin or regular normal users, have profiles on the live site. So if I go find Donna here, pull her up, I'm going to make her an author, and I'm going to save this without closing. And so right now this is her byline here. If I refresh this article, now you notice it at first, and notice now that it's blue and it's becoming a hyperlink. So, because basically it's now, her byline is connected to a profile. She will show up here on a traditional article view like this, and she will also appear here. A profile or an author has a lot of benefits to this, and they'll show up on the article itself, but they also will show up on the thumbnail of the articles. In this case, like Ken here, even David here. I like David's and also Brooke, because they put their titles. So if we look at David here, if I click on David, it's going to bring me a profile of all the articles that David has assigned himself to. And other users can see this, because if they like David's work or his writing, they want to read more of it. So this is an opportunity for them to read more of that. This information can all be edited from the live site and the back site, but for easier purposes, you can log in on your account, right? And it's the same credentials as the Blox, your Blox admin accounts. It's the same thing. So accessing the back end of Blox is the same as accessing the front end of the block. Because you're an admin, the paywall will not be active. So to make these modifications, you can simply go to, when you're logged in, you can go to your dashboard. Every user, including admins and our customers, have a dashboard. And this is a great tool to always let them know, hey, well, you can go to your dashboard and this is your user account where you can add your information. You can edit your profile by adding a picture, or adding your anchors, your Facebook username, Twitter, and so on and so on. This is where you can change your email. You don't want to longer have that email. You can make that change, and this is where you change your password. Same thing for our subscribers and customers. Guys, can you please put yourselves on mute? I keep hearing some background noises. Cool, thank you. Oh, there it is again. Okay, so after you make these edits, you can view your profile just from here. Of course, mine's not really big, but if I go back to David's email or profile, the reason is great for our staff is a customer can look at his Twitter, can email him directly, but also the follow David Bell. If you click on that, each subscriber or anybody can now will have an email delivered to their inbox of anything that David has posted, if he assigned himself as an author to. And what I like about this, it's only one email a day. So now that I added him, I'll say save, and I've added him to my login. Now I'm going to get daily updates from David or from Town News saying, hey, David has wrote new content. Here's a link. Go read the article, basically. You can manage your follow notifications from here, or again, you can do that from your dashboard. Under follow notification, which is right here too. So by clicking that, this is where it basically tells you who you're following. If you want to rename it, fine, you can rename it, but you would no longer want to follow David. Sorry, David. I'm going to delete him, and I will no longer get those emails. All right. So huge opportunities for our staff to get more intimate following from our subscribers. Questions so far? Okay. So all of the sites do have the author activated on the thumbnails. So go for it if you want to start using that. All right, going back to that. So there's Donna there, and I'm going to just keep her there just because she is an author of the site. So in here, what you can, I'm going to move that for a minute. When you create a new asset, you want to make sure, first of all, you can, I'll leave this one open, but to create a new asset, you simply go to new asset, create article, and it will open a box just like this. I'm just going to use this one because there's information in it. But this is also where you create a new image, you create a collection. This is where you can upload a YouTube, and we'll talk about that, audio, etc., etc. Right now, really, a lot of our sites are just doing YouTube and audio. Audio for podcasting purposes. We use YouTube because it uses no bandwidth and storage in Town News, and it's a free storage in YouTube, so we don't get charged extra for bandwidth with Town News. So that's why we use YouTube, but also the benefit of social exposure. Unfortunately for podcasting, yeah, we just use audio, and you might, if you do audio and other types of assets, you will probably see a bandwidth price on the invoices from Town News. Okay, we'll talk about these in just a minute. So, new asset, it pops a box just like this. So web, byline, author, and then you need to place the body copy here. So the first thing you need to do is to click on paste as plain text. So if you're not writing directly onto the Blox site, what you need to do is make sure that we're stripping every style that you used in Microsoft Doc or any type of document software, so it doesn't pick up the bold or the italicized or any type of style that you've done in your articles. The reason why is because it overrides our styles from their website. So we want to make sure that everything is looks consistent. So you're going to click on the clipboard here and you're going to paste the article and then insert it. Okay. And then within here, you can make any type of bolding styling on the article itself. So you can highlight it, make everything bold, italicize, underline, up to you. It's really like Microsoft Doc. What you can also do is add in actually that's not what I want to do. Oh, okay, inline note. Yeah. So it looks a bit different too now that I'm just still looking at the revamping of the interface. So but this is if be omitted from publisher content inline note. If for some reason you want to put an inline note that hides on the live site but it's in the article, you can do that. Trim for print, that's total CMS. We'll talk about that later. But this one, if you want to add or edit a link, so if for a chance you want to make this hyperlinked, and I've seen good practices. Green Valley does this great. Nogales does this. A bunch of other papers do this. But like if you're referring to another story that we have written and you want to hyperlink it, let's do it. So basically how to add a link, you click on the highlighted statement, you click on this clipboard or a paper clip, and then you find the destination. If it's an external destination, just make sure that you always check open in a new tab or window. We want to make sure that they never leave our site. So if it's external, have open a new tab, but if it's internal, like with our article, internal articles, I would simply uncheck open in a new tab or window. It's still in our website. So by adding the address there, now that's become a hyperlink. So so there's an opportunity to do that. If you need to change the edit, you can click on highlight it again, remove it, or edit it by clicking on the actual paperclip. In this case, I'll remove it. Alignment, not something you need to worry about. But if you have bulletins in here or numbers that you want to do, you can simply highlight it and click on that. Or bulletin points, do that. You can put a horizontal line if you choose by simply just putting your your mouse here right before where you want the horizontal line. This way you can click on that and then it will add it in there automatically for you. And then simply delete it there. Insert page break, we don't really use that. You want them to keep scrolling and not click to go to page 2 of an article. Not something we need to use. Tables are great and fun. You can create one, but always think mobile first and how a table looks on mobile. And then if you're inserting some kind of video or an embed, so for example, if you have a YouTube video and you've seen this often, where basically it says share and then you pick up embed, you simply pick up that code that they give you, go back to the editorial, place a space to where you want the video to be, and then click on insert embed, put this tag in there, insert it, and now you have a placeholder for the video. Of course, the video will be here on the live site, but this is just a placeholder. You have special characters too, so if you just don't want to use your keyboard and you want to use special characters, you can do that. And what I like about this too, they in the last couple of years, Town News added embedded Twitter account. So you can click on that, and if you know, for example, if we want to find any words that has Herald Review on it, you can search by that. You can search by title. You can search posts that include retweets and replies. You can search by include at mention. So you can say if somebody mentioned, GB News, which I'm not sure if they mention that yet. It's new. So if I say Green Valley News and search for that, it's gonna pull everything that is related to Green Valley News, like this one. Oh, that's very nice. They're sharing an article of ours. So you can click on that, and you can do multiple posts by highlighting. By holding shift, you can click one and then hold shift to click multiple. And then you can insert them all in here. Now, on the live site, it looks like a Twitter widget, which is pretty cool. It's really nice. Sarah Vista uses this for their sports, SoCo Sports, which is cool. When they're tweeting on at a live game, they write an article later. They'll put the tweets within the article. So good job on that, and that's something everybody can do. So example of that, I did one when we were doing the big earthquake that happened in Alaska. I was trying to get tweets from updates from other profiles, so everybody was aware in our breaking news what was happening. So good example there. So from here, by default, it will push the start and time of your current time, of course, but you can make your edits here, and set it to the whatever desired time you want it. Display priority. So some of our sites use display priority for the featured stories. So on our end, on our templates, we have our 4 stories here that are posted featured, but the second rule could be for an editor, be like, well, I'm going to use display priority. It doesn't matter what type of numbering system you use, 1 to 5, 1 to 4, or 1 to 4, or 100 to 95, up to you. But if you want this story to be above this story, but they're both featured and maybe were uploaded at the same time, the second rule to that is adding a display priority to make this in hierarchy than this story down here. So every newsroom is different. Some don't use display priority, some do. So, but that's where you add that. And then presentation mode. So the traditional has always been for desktop mainly. I mean, desktop and then mobile is all one with, but for desktop is article to the left and then ads to the right. On mobile though, the ads to the right do push down to the bottom of the page. So we are about 68% mobile, WIC wide, so we have to take into consideration what our content is going to look on mobile. So if you don't make any presentation changes, it looks just like that. But you can play with long form. So if you have especially this would be good for like big featured stories, if you want to just use it for that. For top stories, it's up to you. But with long form, if I save and I won't close it, but save, you have 2 options: save without closing or save with closing. We'll close this box off. Save without closing. I'm still working, but I want to save it. If I refresh this and I changed it to long form now, what happens is that it removes the right rail and really pushes the article in the middle, one with scrolling down to all our information. So that's one presentation view. The other one is if you want to emphasize on the author and give him more personality, and it'll say there, emphasizes the author such as a blog or opinion page or opinion piece, and this would be great for opinion. So if you have an author here, you can click on personality, and then refresh this. What happens is that it pulls the author's information above and in between the title and the images. So give more of a credit or more exposure to the author. Yeah, so if you want to do that, make sure you have a nice robust profile. Questions so far? Okay. So going back to this, go to none there, save and close. All right. So that's that. The one thing I won't cover these three because we don't really use them, but summary, in our rules on our thumbnails, it's set to show the first sentence or 300 characters, or 150 characters or less. If by using summary, it overrides that rule. So if you want to give a more, instead of showing on the thumbnail that it's Sierra Vista in 2016 triathlon Brandon, you can go to summary and write a sentence or two about what the article is about, and then it will override in the actual thumbnail. But please don't write a whole paragraph, a whole story, because if there's like two, three paragraphs of summary, it just pushes all the other stories down. So at least one sentence, two sentences at most, to kind of get an idea of what the article is about. Okay, so from there, after you have all this information in here, don't worry about print right now. Again, that's total CMS stuff. But next step is to add this to a section. So you can click on add and open the, by clicking on the add icon, you can click it to or add it to specific subsections. And then simply add and it will show up on the list here. Now, if we added, because we have paywalls now to all our Wix sites, almost except one, if you want a story to be in front of the paywall, make sure that the first section that you assign to is a free access section. So everybody has this section right here. If you click on that, if it's at the bottom of this, because news is behind paywall, it still will keep it behind the paywall. So you need to make sure that you click and drag this section above all the sections so it makes it a free content to read. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. And then if you want to remove things, you simply just highlight it and remove. Next to that is keywords. So when you have your content in here and you save and close it without keywords, Town News now implemented the auto keywords. So it grabs words from the content and makes them keywords. Okay. The reason why is because of searchability on our website and searchability on Google, Yahoo, any type of browser. So we want to make sure there is some types of keywords. Now, if you kind of don't know or want some help with what keywords might work or what's confident in search items, when you have this body copy in here, you can click on suggest, and Town News will pull like a list of suggested keywords, which in this case it looks like this is exactly the same that was pulled. So Donna did not add keywords, but Town News automatically added keywords and used the confident keywords they pulled from the article. So you can choose all of these or some of these, it's up to you. But you can also add keywords to this. So triathlon, I'm actually going to add that word. You can click add, it will pull up a selection there, and then just start typing. By clicking tab, you can go to the next selection, and so on until you're done. Remove that. So up to you and how you want to handle that, but I would at least, for you guys, at least have 2-3 keywords that you know are a bit of traffic or crucial to these articles. And if you know that you have written articles that have those keywords and is somehow attached to this, or if it's the same person, if we have another article and Amanda Garcia has been mentioned there, put that keyword in there, because what happens is when you're in the article, and let me go find my article. Let me go. You can say live view here to go see the article on this live site. But the keywords live under the article here. So I'm going to save and refresh this. So because I added that Amanda Garcia now, you'll notice that it's there, and that triathlete as well. For our website, a person can click on that tag, and it will take them to a search result of anything that's related to Amanda Garcia. And of course, that's nothing in there. But let's see, if I click on another one, let's just say cycling, it will push all articles or information or somehow cycling is related to that article, and those articles will also show on the list. So okay, so those are your keywords. Geolocation is not something we really use, but geolocation is if you want this article only to show on a particular location, you can do that, but we don't want to do that. Sites, we don't have any sites added on here, so let's just disregard that. So the main things under tags is your section, your keywords, and your flags. Okay, this case, this is where you push your breaking news flag. If some of our papers use featured or centerpiece to push to the home page for the story to populate on the home page. In this case, Donna placed top story on here. So flag it if it needs to be flagged, or if we have permissions, especially, we use a lot of this for the home page, but for breaking news, we have to make sure that we tag breaking, because we, the breaking block will pop up on the pages with the nice red box saying breaking, gives you the title of the story, and that box will stay up for, I believe some are anywhere from 8 hours to 12 hours, depending on the newspaper, and then it will hide on its own. So we want to make sure that we use that. I also added, I think it is let me see, let me check here. Cancel out of here. Actually, let me go in 1 second. We also have a way with the push notifications for the apps to automatically push a notification using the alert flag. Yeah, okay, so I use the alert flag. So when you're in an article and you also want to push a push notification automatically, click on alert and it will automatically push the story to the app users, right? So you can do that. Questions on the tags tab? Okay. All right, so next to that is related, and this is where you upload your images, anything that's related to this article. Images, PDFs, and mainly it's only images, but if you have developing, this story was a developed story from another story or a follow-up story, you can use sibling assets and parent assets. They really work the same. They just are a bit different. A parent asset will populate with a title that says more information. So, or sibling assets just shows you a little thumbnail of the story or related information that for this article here. So just to show you an example here, I'll cancel that for a minute. I'm going to go find an article. I'm going to place it, basically all I did was add, I know that the article already is on the site, so I can say find asset, but if any chance you know that the article does not live there, then you'll choose to click on article, image, or collection, and you basically create an article from scratch again, and then it will pull it under the sibling asset here. But for us, it's probably mainly more like developing follow-up stories. So choose the article. Again, I'll just say go to news here. Flags, news. I'll click on news so I can just see news section. I'll click on that, and now this article is under sibling asset for this, and then the child asset. So just to show you how that looks like, refresh this, and I added this little parent asset here. So simply click on that and it takes you to the article. So that's another opportunity for us to make people keep reading, continue on being on our site. You can simply, I'm sorry, so sibling asset is the one that has more information. The parent asset does not have that title added to it. So and then child asset, it's the same thing. You basically, if you know if the image is already on the site, you could go find it. If you have 5-6 images that you want to upload all at once, you can simply click batch upload and go find all your images, and then it will automatically upload them for you. A great tool to do that. And then I would go to each image and retitle it to something other than their file name.
We're on a conference call.
Guys, can you do me a favor and put your phones on mute? I just heard somebody again who want to make sure that we're not getting noise. Okay, so from here, if you have some that you need to edit, you can highlight it and click edit. And it pulls this up. So this is what I was talking about, file name. So I would give it an actual title, because this information does show up on the site. Maybe LW, I'm not sure where LW is, but you can put that there. But nice file name there, or title, excuse me. And then since we're in an image asset looks a bit different, where this is where you would upload the original file, and then it shows up right here. This is where you place the caption of the story. Always make sure that the image asset is the same time and date of your article, because if this one is let's say after you post after the time of the article, and that time is not we're not there that time is we're not at that time yet, the image won't show up. So make sure that it follows the start and date time. Here's your byline, but you also can add photographers, like Mark, like I was showing you with Mark Levy. He adds himself as an author. do it if you have an author or user account. Again, with Donna here, Donna is the one that took these photos. I would add you in there. So then some sites, actually, we just started with Sierra Vista, but we have photo sales. So you'll see a shopping cart here. Photo sales is a new thing that we're testing with Town News. So basically, under the photo, it gives you buy now, and a person can have the ability to buy magnets, prints, framed canvas wraps, professional prints, and it's a revenue share between us and Town News. And then by going through the list, you can purchase directly. It's not something we handle; it's Town News handles this for us. They just simply go in here and make those what they want to buy, and then the checkout and all that. So you can click off of it, and you'll notice that there's one under my shopping cart. But that's the purpose of the going back to here, the photo sales. If you know if this picture's a copyright, disable it. If not, it just follows the same default rule for the rest of the site, which is automatic. Or if the site says we don't do photo, our default is not photo sale or disabled, you can enable it on one of the photos. So all right, so let's save and close that. Oops, okay. So within the images as well, you have, when you have them just on the child assets here, it creates a slideshow above the article, right? And also, what we can do is add these images within the article. So you can, by holding and dragging and pushing an image in the content, you can, for me it looks like a better presentation. You can push these through within the, and I'm going to push this up a little bit since that's the end of the article. Let me get rid of that and put it over here. And then notice I only did 1, 2, 3 out of the 4. So Town News is smart enough to know, hey, you only embedded 3. I'm going to still keep the 4th one above the story. So if I do that, and then I'll refresh here, that story is here. I mean, that image that I embed is up here, and then the rest are inside the article itself. So now what this also is cool, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because it's part of one of our tools that we can use. So you can, there's a lot of some presentation tools that you can do with an image, but again, it looks better when you use long form for that. So let me just show you an example. So you have long form here, and then you can click and right click on the image and say edit display priority. And mainly what I like to play with is the presentation. If I can make this a parallax presentation, I'll show you what that looks like. And then I'll make this a full image. Let's just say that. So when you guys have time, and want to play around with some articles that are already up and want to see what they look like, I try it out. So save without closing again. So I made this a full bleed presentation. I made this a parallax presentation. Now let me show you what I did after I also moved it to a long form. So it pushes the story in the middle again, but the first parallax story or image, this one doesn't work very well because it's more a vertical photo. But what happens is it just gives you a better presentation of an article. So the parallax looks like it's 2 screens, one on top of another. And then we also have a full view, which looks like this. So there's some things that you can do within an article to make it more impressive, I guess you can say, instead of the traditional article view. So I removed that one, but let me just show you this. Well, I guess actually let's remove that too. And probably this one is the better presentation of a parallax because it's more horizontal. So let me do that. So okay, so the three are in here, and then the last one is right here. So again, it works better on horizontals than verticals. So lots of opportunities for that. Okay, so let me just get rid of that. Questions on the related tab? Okay. There's also, if you want to add links to this article, external links, that's where you would do that. If we're using Blox comments, which we're not right now, but you can see comments of an article that for this particular article, and you can approve, deny here. Content. So you'll notice that Donna. So refresh this. So Donna used a content block to add about just the facts, where the information when the event is happening. So she went ahead and used just for facts. So you could click on add, and if you click on just for fact, it's just a layout look. You can change the title. It doesn't have to be just for facts, but then add your information here. It works just like a document file. With all the elements here, or just like the article asset here. But if we open this one that Donna did, she placed all the information about the event, entry fee, and for more information. In this case, what I would do is make sure that this is a hyperlink. So grab it, go in here, and make it a hyperlink. So it's nice and highlighted. And those kind of little boxes and such will be on the left of the article itself. If you use long form, they will be at the bottom of the article. And also if it's on mobile, it will push down to the bottom of the article, which would be right there. So. But you can also, there's other Blox options. There's if the bio box, but you don't have to call it a bio box. But different. Also, if you want to do a pull quote and such, you can do that as well. So things to play with or look at, or if you have an editor's note, you can use that too. Okay, so on the other tab, if you're not ready to publish this, by default it does not pre-check it to do not publish. But if you're not done with this, go onto the other tab and click do not publish, so it does not show on the live site. If you don't want any commenting done on this article, you can allow that to happen by saying disallow user account commenting, or disallow reactions. Reactions are emojis here, so if you don't want any of those, you don't have to add them on there. We don't really use archive, date time, delete time. We want to make sure the articles are always available online. And the only three things under this miscellaneous properties is the subhead, kicker, and hammer. So it's just more elements that you can add to the story. So basically, I can add a subheadline, so I'll do that here. And if you put your mouse over the actual subheadline, or it gives you a definition. So under the kicker, it gives you a definition of what it does, or how it stylizes, as well as hammer there. So subheadline, I'll use this. Kicker, 1 or 2 words identifier to provide an informal classification of an article. Okay, I'll just say triathlons. And then hammer, 3 words or less to attract attention to a major article. I'll just use this. So once I do that, I can show you what it looks like here. So what it does, there is the triathlons, which is the kicker. So right here. Next being the, I think these kids are very good for these. I think this is very good for these kids, which is the hammer. So the bigger font there, and then your subheadline falls right underneath your title. So title, kicker, hammer, and then subheadline here. So so things to use. So and then we have ability to, or you have access to. So notifier, which they're working on right now, but this is where you can push it to. So our top stories are push notifications. So for the app, and then broadcasting for Facebook and Twitter is also available here. So it's a whole new thing for me as well. So, but if you do look at this article here, just to kind of give you an idea. But honestly, all you guys need to worry about is within the editorial notifier here. If you don't see something, let me know, because it's something I would have to set up on the other admin side of this. But this is an easier way for us. It looks like that you don't even have to. It doesn't even give you the option to add a box anymore, or custom title and such. So I'll probably just use the web headline and such. So, and the same thing for this. So, oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's right here. So there's your message. There's your title, and then when to send it out. And if you want, you can save and send a specific time, or save it as a draft. So we have the ability to do that. And if you don't see it right now, it's because Town News is working on the user accounts and make sure that everybody sees the notifier. Location, if you want to add a location to this article, you can. It should pull a Google map to it as well, if you give it a latitude, longitude. Workflows for total CMS, we'll skip that. Custom properties, it's something we don't need to worry about. And then revisions. So I've done a bunch of revisions, so that's why it's showing me all these. But I can see that initially Tim is the one that uploaded this on 3:31 p.m. So it gives you a list of who's made changes in here. So, but that's a lot of information on tools that you can do within the editorial asset. It's honestly, it's something you just have to go in here and figure out what you like best, and start using it, and start using what you feel comfortable with. So. Any questions on this?
Alicia, this is Blox at the Argus. I had one question on the sections for the free access.
Yeah.
Are obituaries automatically free for all of our papers?
Some are, some are not, depending on the paper.
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to let me know. So obituaries has come up, and I've talked to Dan Shear about it. I have some publishers that, like New Iberia says, in which I totally agree with, is, well, we put our obituaries in the newspaper. People buy the newspaper. Why shouldn't they buy it and be part of the paywall as well? I don't have an argument for that. Dan, do you want to share some things that you shared with me about obituaries?
For us, obituaries are really a function of the advertising department, and so we look at it as being, it's a paid ad. It's really not part of the newsroom. I don't really want to be making the call. The ad department can. But we feel like people were paying to have that in there as an ad that we're going to put in front of the paywall. Now, it's really kind of a moot point, because people who are going to go online are probably out of state and will only go onto your site, a couple of times anyway, and they're not going to hit that wall. But that is a publisher call.
Yeah.
Ours go in front.
We have Wahpeton and New Iberia, and some others. Not all of our sites are in front of the paywall for obituaries. So, okay, so with this, I'm going to go ahead and close or cancel out. Actually, let's save and close and get rid of this. All right. So, and some other areas to talk about for editorial, syndication. You can we'll look at that in a minute. But if you click on here, and you can actually go to the syndication platform. We added in the last year or so, we added the ability for you guys to see all content that's been written in Anchorage Press, all our Wix sites, including like this is for Arizona papers, but we just added AZ Mirror, which is basically it's an RSS feed from another website, and they are willing to share their content with us. So we added that to the Southern Arizona papers, but we also had added all our other WIC papers. So, for example, there's a story in Williston. Again, the searching to the left, national stories will show up, but if you want to just search what news, you can search Williston Herald's news. You can see what they've uploaded, and you can actually, if you want to use that story or share that story within your site, you can double click on it. It will pull up that this Jamie wrote this story, and you can add it to a section of your site. It usually will push the keywords and the flags that, well, it will highlight the flag that was on the Williston, but you give it the flag on your own. The flags from your website rules, but to show up on your site, you simply just add to a section, and now Jamie's story can be on the Sarah Vista site. So so let's share among each other on the WIC newspapers, but we can also again have some custom RSS. For example, in Green Valley here, since Dan has been using it, like with the Arizona Mirror, I could click on that. These are not manually being pushed, but it will show you what articles have been added to the site already because of the indicator here. Okay, so we have that capability to share among each other. But if you know that there's, if you're in the article asset here and then click on new asset, you can do the same thing really from here by saying from syndication, finding the channel or the wire, finding that story, or by searching by the title, any type of same type search item, and then you can just add that to your page as well, or to your website. So that's syndication. Import, you can import stories if you want on here. The import doesn't work very well for content. It's a little, you need to have exactly the same style sheet and rules, so I don't really use that. Really mainly for the image, a batch upload for images works best. So collection is what Town News calls a gallery. It's the same thing. You click on that. It opens a collection asset, and then you simply just have to add the images here. You can batch upload, or you can go find your images that you know they're already part of this part of the site. So you can do that as well. And then it's really the same rules as tags. And for galleries and such, you want to make sure that we add it to the proper section. And keywords, if giving them the keywords, or if a flag, if you wanted to give it a flag. So same information really, from an article to a collection. No, don't want to save that. Okay, so so we don't really use video because of bandwidth, extra bandwidth that Town News could charge us. So clicking on YouTube, the first thing you need to do is upload it to YouTube, right? And then you can simply copy the URL and go back to your Blox here. And if you click on Set Video, it will ask you for the URL or the video ID. You can paste that in there, and it will push in the title, the URL of the channel, video ID, and such, and also pulls in the preview. The preview is pretty tiny, so I would make sure to use a bigger image. Usually what I do is I literally make the screen bigger or the video bigger and just take a screenshot of a particular preview and add that instead. So you have all this information. You can upload file here for a new image or leave this one, and then add a description. And again, same things, tags, the section where this is going, and then if there's any related assets, sibling parent that you want to attach to this, you can do that as well. And start and end date display priority, you can use that too. So cancel out of there. And, okay. And one thing, some sites use use audio for podcasting, like up in our Alaska paper. They do Frontiersman Live broadcasting or podcasting, excuse me, which is simply I like the fact that it says that we can listen. It's available on iTunes and Android. If you click here, it takes you directly to the Android podcasting, so you can listen there. Everybody has a different comfort and audience and ways they want to listen, but we also have the option for them to listen here and listen on SoundCloud is another podcasting platform that we use. So do that. And then with the app itself, and even on the site itself, I can actually click this and listen to it right from here, and without ever leaving the site. And the great thing with the app too, it's the same thing. It'll be part of your article list, and you can just click on it. It won't take you anywhere, but just listening right from where you are. So some opportunities there. If you're looking into podcasting, we can do some neat stuff. So in the podcasting, really, it's the audio file that you upload. You can put an image on it, byline, author, title, description, mainly same information. Always that section, keywords are important. So, and with podcasting for Frontiersmen, I do always say web only because it is a web only content. So, and then I noticed for audio files, the push notification alert does not show. So that would be, I manually push those notifications out to our app users. So something to note. So let's see. All right, I think that's really it on editorial tools. Do we have any questions so far? Okay. So, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Send me an email, call me. But really, that's kind of the meat of the Blox CMS on the editorial part. We'll figure out it'd be good to get some training on subscriptions being next, since we're now like 95% paywalls. So we can work on that. Oh, one thing to mention is mobile. So if you go onto your site or see on your phone, and a reporter's out on the field, you can actually have a way to automatically, and by the mobile device, to automatically upload to the site. So I wanted to just also say, if you go to help.bloxcms.com, I come here often. This is resources, everything that you need to know about town news. I come in here to look at if I'm stuck or I don't know something to do. I'll come in here and make sure, and they have a bunch of tutorials on it. So how to, like in this case, how to notify her and how to set up set up channels, so which is cool. But I wanted to show you. You can search. Oh God. The mobile site, and I forget the mobile. Okay. So, Blox Go for mobile devices. It's simply, and this should come up to you on your mobile device right away. You can log in, and then you can simply upload a news article, or excuse me, write an article and upload media. Search for articles. But if you're in the field and you need to get some breaking news up, you can click on write an article and start and get something online. So we beat everybody else is the main thing, and get everybody involved in knowing what's happening. So it's pretty simple, pretty clean platform, but I don't think we make big use of too much use of this. I don't think, but we should. So that's another option when you're on the field and you want to get something on the site right away. You have the ability to do that by Blox Go. And again, it's just admin.townnews.com, same site URL as you access the desktop. At times I'll go on the mobile site. This is what it comes up. But for more information, I do access the desktop if I need to make some more internal edits. So switching to my desktop view. So on mobile, the desktop view is not as friendly. So they came up with the mobile Blox Go. Questions on that? Okay. So on Notifier here, what you can do it through the editorial assets, but you can also, if you have the app, in this case, so Green Valley, the app is on its way, so they're testing out push notifications. But you can go onto Notifier, and by clicking New, this is also where you can push to Facebook and Twitter for broadcasting. But if you don't want to go through editorial assets, you can go to Notifier here. And for purpose, more for this should be changed to top story. I still have to go through it, but top stories for the app itself. You can share an article by searching for an article, or if you have an external URL that you want to share, you can do that as well by adding the address there. There's your message, your text message notification. And there's your title, and then start time date and time, and then you have all this information. Make sure you always click what channel, where you're going with this content, and then save and send, and it will push it out. And this is your list of information on what's been sent. In this case, Town News is working on some testing here. So, questions on push notifications? All right, guys. Well, I think that will be all for now. If you do have any further question, let me know. I am recording this, so I'll have this up for you guys to go back and review. But other than that, if you have any questions, that is all for me. So I appreciate everybody's time. And next week is total CMS training on our end, and hopefully get to you shortly. So pretty excited about that. So, all right, guys. Well, have a good day.